Welcome to Game News for July 27, 2013. We're your hosts for this carpool of comprehension, driving you into the garage of gray matter, this parking lot of perception. Yep, and I am your host, Chris. This is your host, Mike.
Hello.
And this is our host, Grover.
Dude!
Activision Blizzard is buying itself from parent company Vivendi. This will allow them to become their own entity, with the controlling stock of the company being solely with the shareholders. That's a $5.83 billion deal, which is some 420 million shares. And it will still leave Vivendi holding 12% of the company, and Activision's famed CEO Bobby Kotick as well as co-chairman Brian Kelly both dumped $100 million of their personal fortunes into the deal. And, all this came after Vivendi hinted they were potentially looking to sell off Blizzard itself, so...
This is strange. I know Vivendi's having problems right now, but Activision Blizzard is not a company that's in the hole right now. They have two of the biggest money-making franchises in gaming.
Yeah, kind of makes you wonder if something else is going on.
And vaguely related, after THQ's unfortunate demise last year, a lot of franchises have been auctioned off to other developers with former licenses, like WWE is taking up new roost. And now it's confirmed that Activision will be the new publisher for the still powerful Nickelodeon SpongeBob SquarePants series of games, the latest of which, Plankton's Robotic Revenge, to be released for most every current console, as well as Nintendo handhelds on October 22nd.
Scott, no. Kill me now! Kill me now!
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Eat SpongeBob so much.
Elsewhere, Microsoft backed up even further on its indie developing policies in constant damage control, as now they're letting the floodgates open by letting anyone self-publish games for the Xbox One. Xbox VP Mark Whitten said, quote, "Our vision is that every person can be a creator, that every Xbox One can be used for development, that every game and experience can take advantage of all of the features of Xbox One and Xbox Live. This means self-publishing. This means Connect, the cloud, achievements." We'll have more details on the program and the timeline at Gamescom in August. So you heard that right. All Xbox One systems can be used as a development kit once the functionality is installed to create games for the system. Though it hasn't been stated yet how or when this dev kit ability will be launched and utilized, it would not be out of the question to someday see a modding community appear for games that allow access to them, much like what PC games have enjoyed for decades. This is basically open access to the architecture of the Xbox One.
That is very awesome, actually.
So, yeah.
It's pretty impressive,
extremely unexpected, but very awesome.
But I have to wonder if these aren't going to be like limited dev kits, like some sort of kind of like a game maker, in other words. But that's still pretty powerful. That's pretty cool. And meanwhile, Nintendo, and kind of related news, was opening doors to potential indie developers themselves to be contracted by Nintendo, but oddly disclosed Japanese indie developers from being able to join in this particular venture. Yeah, it was odd. And Sony hasn't been sitting on its laurels this week either, as they opened up a registry where you can sign up for one of the $2,500 dev kits for the upcoming PlayStation 4 for free.
$2,500.
Sony's already been doling out free kits to mainstream and indie developers everywhere, and now this allows even more game developers access. So if you're part of a serious developing group, you can check out the link in the description for more. This gives you a free year with the development kit.
Well, at least they're all a lot more open than they were before about it.
And it's interesting, all three of them did something this week, and I don't think that was response to each other.
Maybe they're like spying on each other and all of them have the same idea at the same time. Oh, here we go. And some Kickstarter news on the return of the Shadow of the Eternals after shutting themselves down last time I hit the Kickstarter over some behind-the-scenes things going on, as well as the later scandal with one of the main programmers arrested on pornography. How can I get that wrong? I know that word. Pornography charges. The team at Precursor Games is trying again with even more powerful than before with the Steam Greenlight voting option in former voice of Solid Snake himself, David Hayter, joining the voice cast in the lead role. They're looking for $750,000, and so they almost doubled $1.35 million from the last time, in hopes to have the game launched by fall of next year. Good luck with that. On the flip side is Pixel Bionic's Motorgun canceling its Kickstarter after its abysmal first week, only making 10% of its goal. The game was notable because of God of War and Twisted Metal creator David Jaffe bringing his talents to the fledgling car combat title. Team heads Michael Kaufman and Mike Arkin released a statement, quote, "Kickstarter is a harsh mistress. A lot of projects are pitched to the community, and sometimes they resonate, and sometimes they don't. In this case, what we were pitching wasn't exactly what you guys wanted. So as a result, we're making a tough decision to not drag it out. We're going to cancel the campaign and start working to reformulate it." They've encouraged fans to come to their forums and let them know exactly what they want in their next game for the next attempt.
There's getting to be a lot of projects out there all vying for that same funding dollar.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't get noticed, too. It just happens.
And Organic Moon Incorporated has been hired by the U.S. Navy with an $83,000 contract to make a training program for them called Avatar-Based Sexual Assault Prevention and Response Training, using technology similar to the Kinect with motion capture technology. It will run on a 3-month course in the Naval Station Grand Lakes in Illinois to train recruit division commanders, who then go on to train the rest of the soldiers. All part of the Navy trying to cut down the problems of sexual assault and mismanagement in the military, though some of these efforts, to be absolutely honest and not to get political here, have gone to some ridiculous proportions lately. Do we really need a video game to teach us proper etiquette to people of the opposite sex? Really? Is this where we're at now? Okay.
Yep, this is where we're at, apparently.
Russian esports team Moscow 5 had major presence in League of Legends, Counter-Strike, and Dota 2 competitions. But a year ago, Dmitry DDD1MS Semilyanets was arrested by the FBI in a global sting. The Associated Press announced this week that along with 3 other Russians and a Ukrainian, he has been officially charged as being a part of a major sophisticated hacking organization. And they hacked dozens of companies over the last 7 years. They stole 160 million credit card numbers worth hundreds of millions. And Moscow 5's manager has been trying to keep his team running, but in January he announced the group would shut down. It has since been reorganized under the name of Gambit Gaming, though, so they still live on somewhat.
Boy, I think those boys are in trouble. In other cart room drama, we've been mentioning programmer Robin Antonik's battle with EA over his work with the Madden NFL game series he pretty much created back in 1986 and failed to receive all of the payment of royalties promised in their contract. Well, the court agreed and awarded that the games appeared to have shared the code with games creator between 1990 and 1996 for $11 million in back royalties. However, Antonik is appealing that decision because Super NES versions and the games made after 1997 were excluded from this decision, as well as an issue with fraud claims from jury deliberations.
Beloved fantasy writer Neil Gaiman, famous for his tales in the Sandman graphic novels and movies like Coraline, has announced that he's knee-deep into his first video game, Wilbur Manson, a supernatural tale about a ghost who is trying to rent occupants out of his once house. The title has been developed by the Odd Gentlemen, known for their misadventures of P.T. Winterbottom game, and is being sold with a pre-order page that looks a lot like a Kickstarter, with large prices featuring increasing quality of loot. You can find a link in the description for more.
Ongoing issues with Square Enix Europe as Eidos Montreal general manager and co-creator Stéphane Dastus, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, has stepped down from his position, which he announced on Twitter. In a statement to GameSpot, quote, last year's financial shortcoming performance of Square Enix Europe, we have had growing and divergent opinions on what needed to be done and correct the situation. The lack of leadership, the lack of courage, the lack of communication were so evident that I wasn't able to conduct my job correctly. I realize that our differences are irreconcilable and that the best decision was, unfortunately, to part ways.
Smash Brothers! Yeah! Woo! Creator Masahiro Sakurai has confirmed the new Super Smash Bros. Will have neither any story mode nor cutscene like the Subspace Emissary mode. A team is going to be focusing more on the gameplay itself, though he did hint that at least the 3DS version will include a mode that will be different from the standard versus play. He didn't really elaborate on that. However, the reason for this move, according to Sakurai, is that he felt the videos uploaded on the internet were spoiling the wow factor and the reward of the actual cutscenes, so why bother including them? This might also shed some light into why so many Japanese game companies hate sites like YouTube and Twitch.
This is what basically my answer for them is. They're not going to go away.
No.
These companies must get over it.
Who knows? So if I mention Blizzard, Sony Online Entertainment, Relic, and NCSoft, everyone might think I was talking about some of the biggest online hits of all time, like World of Warcraft, and EverQuest, and Warhammer, and Guild Wars. Well, you'd be half right, as former execs from at least those first 3 companies, Jungwon Han, Paul Delabita, and Blaine Smith, have converged in San Diego with a huge multi-million-dollar investment by NCSoft to create Molten Games, and right now they're having free reign on a brand new in-house IP that Han hopes will be something epic, and likely an MMO, to be completely honest. And lastly, Dan Amrich, merging names, is Activision's community manager, and he was tired of hearing what was coming out of the Call of Duty community after a recent balance patch for Black Ops 2. He came to the defense of Treyarch's design director, David Vonderhaar, and, quote, he often gets told he should die in a fire or kill himself or is a horrible person. If anybody thinks for a second this is okay, it is not. But if the loudest voices in the Call of Duty community act like an angry mob instead, guess how the whole entire world views Call of Duty. Now consider that these internet tough guy rants and demands are not unique to Call of Duty, but exist everywhere in many gaming communities. This is why the world often does not take gaming seriously. This is why gamers are assumed to be immature, whiny assholes because of the immature, whiny assholes are louder. Roleplay this for a second. Yes, we're still quoting here. When you make a mistake, because you do, we all do, or someone finds something wrong with that something that you created, whether it be a meal or driving instructions or even a blog post, how would you prefer to find out that there was an issue? Would you like someone to just say, hey, I noticed this and I think it's not quite right. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Or would you react better to have someone scream in your face that since your mother didn't have an abortion, you should commit suicide instead? This is not the way to show a developer that what they do matters to you. Not at all. So if you enjoy your games, have a little respect for the people who make them and stop threatening them with bodily harm every time they do their job. I applaud you, sir. That's taking some words right out of my mouth. That's not to say we should not critique game makers when they do something stupid, but I do think
them.
Yeah, there's people that take this stuff way too far. Yes, let's do the Mike Tyson told TMZ he never beat his own classic game of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES, claiming he can't even beat Glass Joe. His first bad guy.
I lost to Glass Joe.
He also claimed that he loves Tour of Duty. Have you played Tour of Duty lately, guys? It's the biggest game ever.
Never heard of it.
No.
Anyway, so that is game news for July 27, 2013, and we're going to continue to try to find new ways of making the show even better, just like we're making it now in this new Super Duper HD. So that's all for now, and we'll see you next week for all new game news. What?
Really? All new?
Brand new, too. It's going to be new and improved. It's going to be even better game news.
See you guys next time.
We're just going to go over here and crack it for a while.
Oh, my word.